Dear seekers, let us have a beautiful day. Today also let us continue the understanding of religion and spirituality. How we can differentiate the religion and spirituality? We think that Buddha, Jesus and Muhammad started new religions. They were only the prophets or sages who caused a change in their socio-religious situation and inaugurated a new movement to live a meaningful life. The sages or the prophets, they were not at all intending to start a new religion, but they caused a change in their socio-religious situation. That is the thing we have to understand. Buddha or Jesus or Mahavir or Muhammad, they started a change in their socio-religious situation and inaugurated a new movement to live a meaningful life according to their life situation. In course of time, they were developed into religions added with various rules, regulations, customs and rituals. To understand a religion, we have to go to the source, removing all the other overloaded rules, customs and rituals. Spirituality is the origin, the life and the end of all religions. A religion has to help its members to attain the spiritual goal of their life. Each and every person is spiritual by the very birth as human person. The spirituality is hidden within, but it should be understood and it has to make a reality in our daily life. So a religion has to help its members to attain the spiritual goal of their life. That is why each and religion is a way. Each and religion was started, developed in different historical and social situations. At the same time, it was helping the humanity, giving some values and leading the people to transcend a lot of social problems, limitations and human difficulties. At the same time, all the more it has to help its members to attain the spiritual goal of their life. Because of various social, political and human needs, religious followers are forced to keep up their identification just by doing some rituals and traditions. It is quite natural that each and every religion is identified by their rituals and traditions. The rituals and traditions are added in historical situations. At the same time, we have to go beyond the added realities to the original source of the spiritual strength. Based on religious complex, the leaders of the religions are very careful to keep up their positions and privileges and make the submissive to the external practices of religious life. Most of the time, the religious leaders are captivating or submissive, or making the people submissive to follow certain rules and regulations. Based on religious complex, the leaders of religions are very careful to keep up their positions and privileges and make the submissive to the external practices and never help them to grow as genuine spiritual persons. They want the followers to be submissive. They are always submissive to the rules and codes, but they may not come out to be a free person or free seekers. So, they have to help the religious person to grow as genuine persons. Though the religions are good and having its own spiritual values, the religions are not understood properly. Let us have a glance at the cardinal values of the major religions of the world. For example, Dharma of Hinduism, Bhakti of Saivism or South Indian spirituality, obedience of Judaism, love of Christianity, brotherhood of Islamism, dutifulness of Sikhism, compassion of Buddhism, non-killing ahimsa of Jainism, purity of Zoroastrianism, relationship of Taoism, thankfulness of Shintoism, togetherness of Baha'ism. All these values should be taken into consideration for the well-being of the personal and social life. All these values, Dharma, Bhakti, obedience, love, brotherhood, dutifulness, compassion, non-killing, purity, relationship, thankfulness, and togetherness. All the values are very, very important for us. Each and every religion has given a major importance to a particular value and asking the people to follow them with a genuine and sincere persons. All the values of the religions are essential to live a healthy human life for the well-being of each and every person. If I am conscious of developing a particular value, that will help me to develop not only to that value, but all the other values. If I have with a genuine love, the love itself make me a selfless person. It may allow me to love all realities. It may not give suffering to others. It may create all the brotherhood, unity, servicefulness, relationship, thankfulness, togetherness, etc., etc. So, if I am a religious follower, I have to understand the basic value of that particular religion. If I am conscious of the particular value, if I am able to live that value in my personal life, slowly it will help me to grow in most of the values, to be a genuine person. For that, the religion has to help for the well-being of the personal and social life of the believers. These values are the basic elements to be a religious person, rather than doing some mechanical rites and following some rubrics. The external following of the religion is one thing, and the deeper experience of spirituality is another reality. If a person follows the religion in its spiritual values, it will be an excellent path to attain the goal of life. If a person follows the religion in its spiritual values, it will be an excellent path to attain the goal of life. Now let us analyze some of the differences between the religion and spirituality. Religion advises to follow any ideology and obey certain rules, customs, or traditions. Spirituality leads us to follow the inner spirit and motivates what we feel of our intuition. Here, spirituality is based on our spiritual intuitions, the inspirations we get from within. It sets us free to be what we truly are. Here we are not limited or forced by external realities. Here I am totally free to be what I am. It is all up to us to choose what we would honor enough to make it divine. It is all up to us to choose what we would honor enough to make ourselves divine. It is our responsibility to choose, to understand, to develop what is needed. As opposed to following a specific ideology or a set of rules, spirituality simply leads us to follow our heart. Follow your heart. It encourages us to listen to our intuition and do what is right for ourselves and for others around us. Spirituality is the rule of the heart. It simply leads us to follow our heart, and it encourages us to listen to our inner inspiration or intuition and do what is right for ourselves and for others around us. It truly sets us free to be the best we can be. A spiritual person should be a best person as he could. It truly sets us free to be the best we can be and to be a good person with no promise of punishment or reward. Here we are not worried about the punishment or reward, but we want to involve with love and generosity, with a heart full of lovingness for others. The reward is simply our own inner happiness. Inner happiness is not a kind of selfish happiness, it is the happiness of being in communion with others. Secondly, in the following of a religion, we are moved by a fear complex. It is a fear based on the consequences of our actions. It is a fear of what might happen after we die if we do not live our life accordingly. It is based on the consequences of our actions. Most of the time, all the actions are having their own reactions. We do something based on that action, we are full of fear, we are afraid of that. What might happen to me? I did some wrong, what might happen to me? If I do some good, okay, we may not bother about the consequences, but most of the time we are doing a lot of injustice to others because of fear complex. It is a fear of what might happen after we die. No, here I should be convinced how I can live a better life. If we do not live our life accordingly, we are afraid of what might happen after our death. But live your life accordingly, that is the most important thing. With spirituality, there is only love. It encourages us to focus all our energy only on the good and to act based on love. Spirituality, there is only love. It encourages us to focus all our energies, maybe physical, psychological, intellectual, spiritual, let it be anything, but the spirituality here helps us to focus all our energy to be good and to act based on love. That is the real sign of spirituality. Again, any choice made out of fear will not be good for us. That is a problem. Most of the time we focus. Any choice made out of fear will not be good for us. Whereas decisions made out of love will empower us, make us daring and filled with insights. Whereas the decisions made out of love will empower us, make us daring and filled with insights. It shows us how to stand despite being afraid. It shows us how to stand despite being afraid, how to move on doing what we feel is right, despite the consequences that may come. It helps us to move on doing what is right. We never bother about the consequences, maybe after death. Let it come. But I do something moved by love, moved by generosity. Again, spirituality leads to the awareness of the consequences, but does not make us to center on fear. Spirituality may help us to aware of the consequences, but it may not center on fear. It shows us how to stand regardless of being afraid and how to move on doing what we feel is right, and despite the consequences that may come. It shows us how to act on love. It shows us how to control fear and use the best of it, best of our capacities. Thirdly, just telling us the truth, how the universe was created and why we are here in this world. Spirituality lets us discover these questions and answers within ourselves. Why I am a human person? What is the nature of the universe? For all the questions in spiritual reality, we come to understand the true meaning. It empowers us to find our own truth in all things and sets no limits in our understanding of the known and unknown realities. It empowers us to find our own truth in all beings, all things, and sets no limit in our understanding of the known and unknown realities. Spirituality leads us to realize by ourselves and to understand it in our own unique manner. We understand in our own unique manner. It helps us to relate with our inner self and perceive with our own inner faculties what truth is. Because the truth as a whole is same for each one of us. The truth is same for each one of us. Here it helps us to relate with our inner self and perceive with our own inner faculties what is truth, what is meaningful, because it is a common reality for all persons. Here, whether we are separated or united, throughout the world there are many religions and they all perish, and they all preach that their story is the right one. Spirituality sees the truth in all of them and unites them. Religion may separate us, but spirituality is uniting us, because the truth is same for all of us despite of our differences and uniquenesses. It focuses us on the quality of the divine message they share and not on the differences in details of the story the religions speak. Here the spirituality focuses on the quality of the divine message, the divine intuition, the divine inspiration, not on the differences in details of its explanations. Most of the time we look at the differences of its explanations, not going beyond the explanations to the original message. The spirituality leads us to understand the original message, the original values. We think that if we attend religious events, then we are seen as religious persons, and we feel that we are worthy of happiness. Spirituality shows us that we need not depend on external activities to be happy. Happiness is always found deep within ourselves, and we are the only responsible person for it. As spiritual persons, we are always where we need to be, and not just while we are attending at some events or in some places. We are everywhere, not only in a particular place or in a particular event. As spiritual persons, we are always where we need to be, and not just while we are attending at some events or in some places. Divinity is in us, and that is why we are always worthy. We are always worthy because we are divine within us. We go beyond the understanding of punishment and to understand the real meaning of love. Religion preaches that if we do not obey certain rules, there will be sentence that awaits us, which the relics on our belief of punishment or reward after life. Always it relies on our belief of punishment or reward after life. But another side, spirituality lets us understand that every action has its own reaction, and realize that the punishment of our actions will be the reaction coming from the actions we set in motion. Spirituality lets us understand that every action has its own reaction, not only doing some religious actions, and realize that the punishment of our actions will be the reactions coming from the action we set in motion. The limitations of any action will be bringing out some other limitations. It relies solely on the fundamental forces of the universal law. The universal law should help us. The universal law is the law of attraction, that we will get back in the measure that we give. It is the law of attraction, that we will get back in the measure that we give. If you are spending a lot of love, lot of energy, lot of time, lot of your capacities, there also the law of attraction will be there. It will bring out its own reactions. Every religion can be a spirituality by the journey through which one person becomes God. The details of the story are not important, they just help the character and to discover the truth. The message that shares the truth is not important. The divine inner light resonates harmoniously through each one of us. That is why every religion has some truth in it, because it is resonating, it giving out the harmonious inner spirit. Some may find that their spiritual life is intrinsically linked to their association with a church, temple, mosque, or a synagogue. It is quite natural. Some people may find their spiritual life linked to their association with certain external realities. Others may pray or find comfort in a personal relationship with God or a higher power. Still, others seek meaning through their connections to nature or art. Like our sense of purpose, our personal definition of spirituality may change throughout our life, adapting to our own experiences and relationships. According to the different situations, we adopt different manners of spiritual values, or spiritual values change our thought pattern throughout our life. So, spirituality is a broad concept with opportunities for many perspectives. It opens lot of opportunities for many perspectives. In general, it includes a sense of connection to something great or bigger than our inner self, and it typically involves a search for meaning in our life. It connects to a greater reality more powerful than us, and it involves a search for a meaning in our life. As such, it is a universal human experience. That is something that touches each one of us and all of us. People may illustrate it as a spiritual experience of sacred or transcendent, or it may be a deep sense of awareness or communion. The explanation of the experience may be different, but it is being with the divine to recreate the new humanity. This being with the divine to recreate the new humanity. Here we are not worried about religion or spirituality. Religion as well as the spirituality should help the person to grow in a meaningful way, adapting to different situations and to the inner realm of our own self, and it makes us move to a sense of awareness and communion. It is being with the divine. Why? To create the new humanity within ourselves and in the external realities. O Supreme Graceful Light, justice, love and peace be in all beings. Be well, be well, be well. Thank you very much.